So, hello, Rusty. How are
Howdy.
you?
Doing well, Raul. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Okay,
Nice.
so Rusty, as I told you before, I want to make a different session today, different call.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I'm from Spain. I normally speak Spanish. My clients are all in Spanish. Sometimes I have some difficulties to speak English properly, but I
Mm-hmm.
think you can understand, and your audience or my audience who speaks English can understand. The
Mm-hmm.
reason of this call is talking about especially mindset and blocks that people have, especially entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
coaches, professionals in their career. And I used to make this session with you because for me, it's kind of a hard mindset to do a video where I'm going to be exposed talking in English, because
Mm-hmm.
my language, I don't have problems to speak in my parents' language. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So thank
Right.
you very much for me it's a
Yeah.
challenge, but also I think that many people must know the work that you are doing currently. Because you and I know each other from 4 or 5 years ago, and you were doing a different
Yeah.
kind of work, but you have progress, you have evolved tremendously and nicely, and I love the work that you have done. You have helped me
Thank you.
a lot. And I remember the first session I had with you, it was kind of, wow, I never had this kind of breakthroughs in just 30 minutes was the first session.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give you the microphone almost all the time, but I want to talk with you about mindset, entrepreneurship, how, why people get blocked or get stuck in their areas. But first of all, if you can make a little intro of who you are and what you do,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, for sure. So, who am I and what do I do? Well, my name is Rusty Osborne, and I help entrepreneurs remove the mental blocks that keep them from building a bigger, better business. Right. And other professionals who just like they want to move forward, but there's fears, there's procrastinations, discipline problems. There's so many things holding us back sometimes from getting the money we want, the life we want, the relationships we want. And so it's my job to go in and find what's the wiring in your brain that's not working quite right. And how do we shift that in a really tangible way at the subconscious level so you can just start easily getting the results you want? Now, I didn't always do this. I was a failure before in a few different ways. And so that's why I do this now is I kept hitting roadblock after roadblock in my last business, in my first coaching business, which is when we met. And I could never get it quite off the ground until I had some people help me understand what mindset work really is. Like not just reframing, not just reading a book about mindset, but really doing deep subconscious inner work can make it so easy to make a whole lot of money, close a whole bunch of sales. I actually worked for Craig Ballantyne for a little bit, who we both know, and I closed over 500,000 in sales for him after learning these tactics when I shut down that last business and was learning what I wanted to learn to build this current one. And then this one actually started itself on accident because people just loved the work that I was doing. They asked me to start doing it for them. So that's kind of the short version of the last 5-6 years.
Sometimes I think as a failure and as successful as I've been in the past, because I have
Yeah.
quite big successes, but I have many failures. And sometimes it's even that I know what to do, it's difficult to do it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think many professionals are looking for the technical stuff or the systems. Give me the system and I will apply. Give me the method
Yeah.
or the strategy that I'm going to be
Mhm.
applying. Okay.
Yeah.
It cost me a lot to realize that the strategy without the proper mindset is useless for many,
Mm,
many, many people.
100%. Yeah.
What are you
Definitely.
seeing in the entrepreneur? Because I have seen many people stuck with, they have a huge potential, but they're stuck in their mindset and they cannot
Hmm.
succeed or they cannot maintain the success. The success.
Right. Um, Actually, the call I was just on with a client, he said, "Man, I hired this business consultant specifically for my industry, and I have an email full of the action steps she gave me 6 months ago that I still haven't opened." Right. Like we can spend money, we can believe in ourselves to invest in the information, and then we don't do anything with it. Right. And that's such a huge sticking point. And especially because so many of, like we've had coaches, we've had consultants, we've gone through courses, we've got a lot of knowledge in here, a lot more than we give ourselves credit for. And instead of just implementing fully, we think we need to get more. Like, oh, I still don't know enough to actually do this. Where it's the flip side that's true. The people who, it's really funny. I'm sure everybody that listens to this will know someone that they would just maybe judge transparently. It was like, you know what? They're just not as smart as me. I'm smarter than them, but why are they more successful than me? Right? That's a very common thing that I see. And maybe the reason is they didn't overthink the action. They learned and they just implemented quickly. And this is so fun because smart people, intelligent people especially, will overthink and create new obstacles for themselves that are new barriers to actually moving forward. And so if we can go in and find, okay, what are those obstacles? What are those barriers that I'm perceiving? Move those out of the way. Suddenly we just start acting on the knowledge that we already have. Right? You don't need another blueprint for a business. You don't need another marketing channel. You don't need a new coach to tell you every new productivity tactic necessarily. You got to get yourself out of your own way and use what you already know. Because otherwise, we're just going
Yeah.
to use the new coach as a crutch, get us a little more progress, which is good, but we're not going to get that massive quantum leap that we're actually looking for because we're operating out of fear and scarcity that we don't actually know what we're doing.
Mhm. Yeah. I see how easy you do it in the first session that we removed some, I think I remember it was like four blockages that I had and we remove
Mm-hmm.
it like bam, 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 bam. And it's kind of, the walk. You don't need to learn how to walk again, but you need to
Mm-hmm.
remove the stones on your way to moving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. I think of
Mean,
it like a mountain almost, right? If we want to go up a mountain and there's a tree blocking the path, well, like if the tree wasn't in your path, you'd move faster. Or if you weren't carrying 100 pounds of baggage on your back, you'd climb a whole lot faster. Right.
uh-huh.
So the more that we can get those obstacles out of the way, the faster we move easily.
Okay, tell me a little bit about your vision or your methodology, because I know you
Mm-hmm.
work different than many other gurus or meditation or visualization or I don't know manifestation gurus, out there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about your methodology. What do you focus on, and how is that so powerful?
Mm-hmm. You got it. So the first piece to remember, I'd say the most important thing is what I call the negative mindset method. And that's where we want to use a negative mindset instead of a positive mindset to get better results. And this is what's really different about what I think than other people. Because we've all heard if you think positive, if you get in the vortex, if you just imagine, you visualize your success, you're going to get it. We imagine the money raining down from the heavens when we listen to these, abundance meditations, right? And it's good to have clarity of where you want to go, and it's great to feel good, especially when you're on a sales call or you're coaching a client. Like, yes, let's think positive, believe in the possibilities that are there. But when you're working on yourself, we want to think as negative as we can. We are wired for negativity, because if you think back to when we were cave people, if I heard a rustle in the bushes and I was like, oh, I'm going to think positive, that's just a squirrel. Well, if I was wrong, I'm dead. Right. And so if I think negative and say, that's a saber-toothed tiger, I'm going to die if I don't protect myself, and then it's a squirrel, then it's no problem. Right. But this is a survival mechanism that we're wired to think negatively. So this is why we're all so great at picking ourselves apart. And we have a strong inner critic that's really loud, and we see everything that's wrong with us. And instead of trying to shut that down and ignore it, we want to use it. One of the best phrases I ever heard is, what we resist persists. So if you want to stay poor, then you keep ignoring the thoughts that make you poor. Right. But if you really just want to solve it, let's dig in and say, okay, what's all the negativity that I actually think at the subconscious level that I'm just afraid to say? And if we start there, we can dig up so much inner gunk that is slowing you down and holding you back. It's like having the emergency brake on while you're trying to push the gas pedal, right? It's just, we won't go at the level that we can. And so that's the key piece of what I do with people, is let's find those negative things and actually work it instead of just letting it sit under the surface.
Okay. And what do you, more or less, because someone can think, okay, if I focus on the negative only, I'm going to be negative all day long. But it's not true.
Right. Right. And this is what we did on that first call with you, right? Like we looked at where you wanted to get to. Then we said, what's everything keeping you from that? And we focused there. And once we cleared that out, how did you feel?
I felt amazing.
Yeah.
Actually,
like
it was like trees in my way on the mountain, just like you said.
Yeah.
And many times it appeared in my head, but I don't remember that this type of negativity come back again. It kind of, in 30 minutes, was like, boom, out. I have still work to do, and
we all
because
do.
there are not only 4 negative things in my life, there are a lot after almost 50 years. But those was kind of, I don't remember it. They don't stop me anymore.
Yeah. And that's what we're aiming for. Right? Like if we can find those obstacles and just get rid of them. Right? Let's say fear is holding us back. Like, what if we got rid of all inappropriate levels of fear so you couldn't feel it at that level anymore? That's what I like. I like those kind of results that are fast and permanent. So that way we can just get back to doing the work we need to do.
I think it's amazing when we don't realize how important is our head to take us to the goal, to the end result, to the Polaris star. And we don't realize, and we just try to make the hard work, I think you understand what I want to see, no? Because I have seen a lot of people with potential, with good knowledge, with the strategies, the knowledge.
And with such talent too, right? Like people that have such a innate talent that they can go so far, but then they stop themselves for some reason. Right? And that's so, those ways that we stop ourselves from moving forward, it's very simple to actually find those once we know how to do it. Right? And so that's what I walk people through, is like, how do we just dig in, find those reasons that you're stopping yourself, and rewire the neural pathway in your brain. So instead of saying stop, it says go. Right? Like, oh, here's a smarter way to do something. Let's move on that.
This is something interesting, because you rewire the neural path. And many mindset gurus is kind of, they're working at the level of insert ideas. Instead of marketing is bad, insert the idea of marketing is good. But I think it doesn't work. If you only try to insert ideas by reading or by repeating, it's kind of boring, it's easy to stop doing it because you don't see results, and
Hmm.
they are not working at the deepest level. What do you think about
Yeah.
that?
I have a very strong feeling about this. And it's because, um, man, I remember when I started that first coaching business, I was doing every affirmation that was about success. And I'm going to make 500K this year. I have made, I'm so happy and grateful that I've made $500,000 this year by serving and all this. And I never did. Right.
I
And
know that.
so,
I know that.
right. And so what
I know that
happens when we're using these
exact
affirmations is yeah, you know exactly the sentence I'm talking about. Or if you've read Think and Grow Rich, there's the self-confidence formula is the same thing. And
I love
it doesn't it does not mean that affirmations don't work. It's just that we're using them wrong. And what happens if we just say the affirmation over and over or do the same visualization over and over, we're getting so attached to that one thing at a conscious level while we see ourselves doing something different. Right? If I say I made 40K this month, I made 40K this month, but I made five,
it.
right?
Yeah,
It starts to create a rift, a tear in your subconscious, in your integrity. Then you don't trust yourself because you say one thing and you do something different. And that's
yeah,
like the definition of no integrity is saying one thing and doing something different. So if we do that over and over, it doesn't magnetize us towards the goal. It creates a subconscious dissonance. And so
yeah,
then if we don't trust ourselves because we said one thing, we did something different, then how can we trust our instincts? How can we act with speed? How can we sell with integrity? How can we build a business we're proud of if it's built on, I don't trust myself because I use the same damn affirmations every day that led me astray?
yeah. It's kind of some of the mindset work that we have been taught to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's working against us and not to push us forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's what you said. When you think about something that you consciously or unconsciously think different or do
Yeah,
different, at the end of the work, you are worse than at the beginning, you know?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is something I really love of your work because it's kind of practical, direct, and you
Yeah.
finish like 30 minutes, which I'm gonna encourage everybody who is listening to us who take one session with you. They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
be like amazed by the differences if they know about mindset or visualization work.
Mm-hmm.
And they are gonna even sometimes find that I don't know how to say it in English, find like a wow, there is hope. Because if I have done that much in just 30 minutes or I change or this negativity, wow, what can I find in tell me, tell me what can I conquer? What can I
Mm-hmm.
what
Yeah.
goals
It's
can I have in 3 months, 6 months? And I don't mean goals like I'm gonna be 500K. No, I mean goals in terms of advance because many people, especially many people we know, they speak a lot about money. You can make 100K a month,
yeah.
but this is kind of for many people what they need to advance because they are broke. It's not
Mm-hmm.
from 0 to 100K or from 0 to the girl of the woman of your life or from 0 to change all the relationships around you.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
getting rid of the blocks or the of the
Mm-hmm.
unconscious mindset, negative mindset, especially, and
Mm-hmm.
go forward. And you will arrive to your
Yeah.
goals maybe in 3 months, maybe in six, maybe in 12, maybe in 24. but you will arrive.
Mm-hmm.
What can we conquer with time?
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun. One of my favorite things that I see my clients recognize is after just a couple weeks of this work, they can stop trying so hard. Right. So think of, most of the people that are listening to this probably have been on sales calls, right? Like, I'm going to try and sell my product, my service, my coaching, whatever. And there's such like, I have to get on and sell, right? I have to ask the right questions. I have to handle the objection just right. Right. What if you just showed up relaxed because your brain knew how to do this really well and you just didn't have to worry about it? The only reason that you're so clenched up and nervous and whatnot is because of unconscious problems. So then when you start showing up because you start showing up relaxed and you're not trying, there's suddenly way less effort. And when you're putting in less effort and less pushing for a sale, well, it's really funny because people start enrolling. They're like, oh, I like this guy. Yeah, I want to be more like him. I want to enroll with that person. And so that starts to bleed over in every aspect of the business where I'm not trying, I'm not pushing, I'm not grinding, I'm not hustling. It doesn't feel like I'm putting forth massive effort. I open up my computer and I type some stuff and it makes me money. Awesome. I'm going to hop on a call and talk to a couple people and they want to pay me. It's really cool, right? That's the kind of thing we start to see because we don't have all of these insecurities, the voices in our head, the inner critics, all of that imposter syndrome, self-sabotaging beliefs. They don't take up all that mental space anymore.
It's just
Follow-up's get
funny
easy.
because
Like it just keeps going.
you have used a good example because those calls, those sales calls, are made with a with a script in front of
Yeah.
you. Okay, you have to learn it, and but you try to follow the script. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you are making a lot of efforts. Use the correct voice, use the correct sentences, the correct questions, the correct everything. That
Yeah.
is curious because the results are worse. Because in essence, you are not that kind of person.
Yeah.
And when you are not relaxed, when you have fears, when you have blocks, when you have tension, when you have a lot of things that you know more than me, but it's curious because it doesn't work. It's not about
Mm-hmm.
learning all. There is a mindset work below that is
Yeah.
giving us the difference. And the
Mm-hmm.
difference is huge.
Massive.
Same probably script, same probably time, same probably, I don't know, but the results,
Mm-hmm.
the consequences for your health, for your relax, for your everything. And also, you
Yeah.
see results coming.
Yes. Right. And even Alex Hermosi, he says there's two things we need for success. We need skills and we need beliefs. Right. If your beliefs are off, doesn't matter what skills you have,
Yeah,
because you'll never sell what you need to sell. You'll never serve at the level you need to serve. And so
yeah.
if you're only focused on skills, you'll never actually get what you need.
Actually, this happened many times in sports. And what we don't
Right.
realize as business owners is that we are actually in the high performance sport of selling our solutions to solve the problems
Yes.
that we solve. And we don't think as a elite sport people, but you can see all the time, wherever the sport you like it. I like, for example,
Mm-hmm.
basket. I like tennis. Tennis is because if your mindset is not correct that day, every skill doesn't work.
Right.
And it happens in many, many sports. Same person, The skills doesn't change because you have it, but if your
Yeah.
head is not on the correct thing or is not working properly, nothing happens. My son,
Mhm.
my son loves basketball, and now he's 11 years old, and now he's obviously looking at the NBA in US. But what I realized talking with my son is, come on, if a strategy or skills were what we need, everybody would be Michael Jordan.
Mhm.
But nobody in the history can be like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
The
There's not
mindset.
a you and another key piece of that too. The reason there will never be another Michael Jordan is because he was Michael Jordan, right? You're not. Your kid's not Michael Jordan. And when we try too hard to be somebody else, and we forget what actually makes us us. And that's the other thing about trying so hard to be somebody else. Well, you're trying and it's hard.
Good point.
So we could really
Very good point.
easily lean into being authentically ourselves and say, okay, how do I want to show up? What would be the best business for me to build? Do I want to be on Zoom calls that much? Do I want to be on Instagram DMs trying to sell people that much? Right? Like, what's the business you want to build? Right? You
Yeah.
don't want to build the same business as your business coaches usually. Right? You
Yeah,
probably
which,
don't
which
want to
is
have
something
the hours they work or the way they want to do that.
that's one of the things that I don't like from the strategy or from the marketers. Marketers are marketing to marketers, you know. So
Yeah.
and it's kind of okay, I'm Michael Jordan and you have to be Michael Jordan, which is a lie. It's a lie. He's not Michael Jordan, and I cannot be Michael Jordan, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Rusty, it's always a pleasure to talk with you because always I learn something.
Yeah.
You give me clarity, even today, which is a more of a friends chat, but
Yeah.
you give me some clarity, some ideas, and I realize how important it is to take more seriously what's happening in your head. Because at the end of the day, your head moves your body, and your body,
Mm-hmm.
your actions with your body is what make us achieve the goals. But
Yes.
only
It's a great way to
moving
put
hard the body is not going to take us to the goals.
it. Mm-hmm. Really well said. I love that.
So I'm gonna say to everybody who is listening to you that I don't know where because this video was probably will be in YouTube or whatever in social media, but it's gonna be a link here, 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 here. And my recommendation is it's simple. What they can do, Rusty, what's your advice to anybody who now it's having troubles with her productivity, fears, blockages, whatever. But whoever is thinking, I I don't like where I am right now. I would like to be in a different place. Still, I don't know even what place is for me, but I want better. I want more, and I want faster. And I want no. What do you suggest to anybody who has listened to you from you for the first time? What's the best first step that can take with you to start? Start the change,
Yeah.
start the improvement, start the relaxation,
Yeah.
and start watching different results.
Definitely. The first thing that I encourage everybody to do, first of all, is just ask for help anytime you need it. We procrastinate on that. And that could also be getting the resources that I have. Like I'll drop a link here for either the negative mindset method itself to walk through that or a different meditation to help move apart some blocks and help us execute quickly on what matters. And so what that'll do, more importantly, is it'll get you in contact with me. And anybody can email me anytime. I'm really good with email. So rusty@rustyosborn.com. If you just have a question or you don't know what to do, hit me up and I'm happy to help. So I mentioned we want to build the business that we want to build. Like, I love having a business where people reach out to me and say what's going on. That's just a business that I enjoy. So if you do send me an email or a note or just opt into one of those, you'll be in contact. You'll get tactical ways to really make changes in the mindset that are results focused. It's based on psychology, high performance, NLP, and so much that we've put into this that can really move the needle. So click the link or send me an email, and I'm here to help.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
This is so generous for your part. And you have said something that I'm going to encourage people to do, because we know we need help, but we don't ask for help many times. And it's curious because let's say you recommend people to eat eggs or plants, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Why you recommend people to eat eggs? Isn't it because you eat eggs and it tastes, feels, and it makes you feel better? If not, why you recommend eggs? But in that coaching industry or therapeutical industry, many people is recommending coaching, giving coaching to others when they don't believe enough that they also need coaching or therapy or NLP or someone who is helping you to see what you cannot see, because we cannot see what we don't see. We don't know what we don't know. Yeah. And sometimes a second or a third person in your life can make you some question, make you see. I remember the first session that I was so impacted because you make me think about things that I didn't want to think about. But you don't tell me anything about think about that, or think about, or look the most negativity, or look what happened when you were 12 years old. No, you don't tell me that. You just guide me, and I find negative stories or negative things that I didn't want to think before. And they were having an impact in my life, in my security, in my... Thank you very much, Rusty. I think it's a really good chat today. I don't want to make it so long because you has been so generous, and everybody or anybody can just write you an email. I'm going to put the links, or if you share the video,
put the link, put that all there.
Whatever, and just have this conversation with you.
Thank you very much. Advice. Beautiful.
Thank you, Rusty.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.